Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to the 2024 Narrows Music Society Harbor Winds Concert Band Young Artists Concert. This is something that started 10 years ago when Narrows Music Society first became a thing. And one of Narrows Music Society's goals in life is to push music education and support music education. So we like doing these featured young artist concerts once a year to showcase the talent that is percolating in the middle schools and in the high school. So it's great that you are here for this. We hope that you had a chance to listen to the Gig Harbor High School Woodwind Trio, and perhaps you could submit a more creative name for them. Taylor Robinson and James McCord and Alexa Katansky, who are playing that. So, we're excited for this afternoon's program. You're going to hear a couple of solos from a couple of the high school seniors, one from Peninsula High School and one from Gig Harbor High School. You'll hear more about both of them in a little bit. We've got a bit of everything for you in this concert. We've got traditional British concert band literature. We've got solos playing classical pieces that have been transcribed from concert band. And we end up with a good fiery finish. So we hope you join us. And then I'll mention again later, there's a reception after the concert. So we hope to see you there out in the lobby. And without further ado, our interim director is Ms. Stelzner. So please give a warm round of applause for Ms. Stelzner. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Harbor Winds Young Artist Concert. My name is Minna Stelzner, and I'm the interim director for this wonderful ensemble of six, and it's been such a delight. And so thank you so much for coming out to our concert this afternoon. We're so delighted to share our program with you. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about the music that you're hearing, please check out the full program notes. They're available in your program as a QR code, I think on the back page. And so feel free to hop on the school Wi-Fi and scan that with your phone, and you're free to read through and learn a little bit more about each piece. They're really some great information there, so I hope you'll read through those if you're inclined. So you just heard the three-movement, the folk song suite by Ralph Vaughan Williams, who's a British composer, and that's one of the great cornerstones of our wind band literature. And the background of that you heard, as the name implies, quite a variety of folk songs from that were sourced from Britain, from people who sang them. And as recording technology around the turn of the century in the 1900s, as it began to evolve to be, one, more commonplace, and two, a little bit more portable, a lot of composers became interested in preserving their native country's folk traditions, and so they would lug this recording equipment across their country and go and find some folk singers, and people would sing these songs, and the composers would notate them and then use them in compositions. And so that was a really great example of this. There are quite a number, and you can read all about those folk songs in the program notes, but Percy Grainger also did that, Bela Bartok also did that, and so it's a really, really interesting medium. So next up, I'm so delighted for you to meet our first special guest for this concert. And as Corey mentioned at the beginning, at Harbor Winds, our mission is to uplift not just our community through music, but also our local students. And we do this through our educational programs. And the side-by-side opportunity in this concert is really, really special for us to get to feature some of these local students as soloists, but also just to mentor and collaborate with some of them in the ensemble. With the high school students and some of the middle school students who are out in the audience right now that'll be joining us a little bit later. And this has just been really, really extraordinary. It's been so much fun for us to get to work with these amazing students. So, yeah. And then the first soloist that you'll hear this afternoon, Riley, has just been so incredible to work with. She's a student right now at Peninsula. And you'll hear her perform the first movement of the Hummel Trumpet Concerto in just a moment. So this is a concerto. It's a very classical style, and you can kind of read all about it. But it was originally written to show off the technical facility of the trumpet when pistons were first added, right? And before that, the trumpet was an instrument that was played using just the overtone series, and it had these interchangeable tubes called crooks, and so the notes were a little bit limited, and so as soon as somebody added fingers, they could play a lot more notes, and everyone was like, let's write music for this. And so it was kind of a little showpiece. Yeah, it's really exciting. So lots of people, it was playing more notes is a really big deal. So let me introduce you to Riley. Riley is a senior at Peninsula High School, and she has been playing trumpet for about 9 years. She's been taking private lessons with Dr. Scott Meredith for 2 of those 9 years. In addition to trumpet, she plays guitar, banjo, percussion, trombone, and several other instruments, and she also sings. How about that? Pretty awesome. Outside of music, she likes to work outside on her family's farm. She takes a rigorous course load and volunteers at her church, and she participates in Unified Basketball, which is a Special Olympics organization for high school athletes with disabilities. So, not very much at all, really. She has lots of free time. Next year she plans to attend Central Washington University in the fall to pursue a double major in music education and trumpet performance. So without further ado, please help me welcome Riley Dykman. Thank you so much. The next work that we'll perform for you, which is titled Sleep, is really, really gorgeous and evocative. Eric Whitacre, the composer, was approached by a singer who wanted to create a choral piece that was based on the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. And to make a long story short, you can read the full crazy tale in your program notes, but he ended up not being able to use that Frost poem because of a ton of legal issues. And because Eric Whitacre had already composed all of the music to match the exact meter of that poem, Whitacre's friend, a gentleman named Charles Anthony Silvestri, he wrote up an original poem that uses the exact same meter as Stopping by Woods, so it kind of lines up rhythmically. Part of Eric Whitacre's distinctive compositional style that you'll kind of hear in this piece is in the way that he writes harmonies, and you'll hear a lot of cluster chords with these notes really, really close together, and some really interesting harmonic resolutions. And so it's so gorgeous that we almost don't mind that it's dissonant. It's that kind of music, or at least it kind of redefines for us what dissonant means. And so it's a really, really pretty piece. This poem that Silvestri wrote describes clouds of dreams and surrendering to sleep. So there's actually a double meaning here, not just literal, when you're in bed and you're trying to relax and get out of feeling restless and just go to sleep, but there's also the metaphorical sleep at the end of your life. And actually the singer who commissioned this piece wanted to honor her parents who actually died within weeks of each other. And so this piece has a little bit of a double meaning. So please enjoy Sleep by Eric Whitacre. Thank you. Thank you so much. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. We are so delighted. Thanks, Corey. We are so delighted to welcome our second student soloist for you next. And by the way, it's so exciting to have two concerto soloists on this Young Artist Concert. I think that's the first time that's happened in this. Well, we've had this. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I've had the great privilege of knowing Taylor since he was in 7th grade, and so it's a real honor to be able to feature him on this concert. And actually, kind of in keeping with our young artists theme, it turns out that the composers of our two concertos, both the Mozart and the Hummel concerto you heard Riley play earlier, they were actually teacher and student. So that's kind of an interesting connection. When Johann Hummel was a young boy, he met Mozart when I think Mozart was about like 30 years old, so actually near the end of his life. And Mozart was so impressed when he heard Hummel play a little bit that he offered to house Hummel free of charge for 2 whole years as they studied together. So that's pretty cool. This flute concerto that you're going to hear by Mozart is simply gorgeous. So it might surprise you to know that Mozart wasn't a huge fan of the flute actually as a solo instrument. But you wouldn't know that at all by listening to this piece. It's just so beautiful. Like everything Mozart wrote, it really shows off the virtuosity of the flute really nicely. So you're in for a real treat here. So I'll introduce our next soloist. Taylor Robinson is a senior at Gig Harbor High School. He has been playing flute for 7 years. He takes private lessons with Mary Jensen, and he plays in the Tacoma Youth Symphony. Next year, he plans to pursue a degree in flute performance. So without further ado, please help me welcome Taylor Robinson. real quick, can we just have one more round of applause for our two student soloists, both Riley and Phillips? Really, really special to get to feature such amazing students. And speaking of students, we are going to take just a moment to make a little brief transition here. We're going to reset the stage just a bit and invite our middle school students to come up and join us for our last couple of pieces. So please be patient with us for just a moment, and we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you. I did it again. Oh my gosh. There's a tape on there.
I'm back over.
Awesome. So the next two works that you'll hear are relatively short, so I'll just talk about both of them. These are both pieces that were performed by these middle school students at their regional middle school honor band. These students were nominated by their directors for this honor band, so it's really, again, really exciting to have a chance to perform these two works with them. The first piece that you'll hear us play, Amber Skies, it's all about the changing colors of sunsets. You'll hear this great tone painting all the way through the piece. Just some really lovely melodies and phrasing. It's a simple piece, but really pretty. And it was actually written by a band director that actually teaches near Lake Chelan here in Washington, so that's kind of cool. We'll follow that with Storm by Suki Newbold, which is a fun little piece. It kicks off with kind of an adventurous theme. I always tell them it sounds a little bit like pirate music. So it's kind of an adventurous little theme. It has some beautiful lyrical moments as well. So we'll take another tuning note here, and then please enjoy these two works. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you all to all of our middle school students. It's so much fun to have you join us. We really, really appreciate it. At this time, I'd like to invite up our board president, Corey. He has a couple of things to say to help recognize our amazing student musicians here on stage. So here's Corey.
So before we finish up, since this is our annual Young Artists Concert, I want to take a moment to thank a couple of sets of people, parents, for pushing the people we have behind us today. It would be unusual to have self-starters as instrumentalists that are so much self-starters that they don't need a push from somebody. All of us who've been playing for years and years, we've all needed a push from somebody. Parents, music educators, music teachers, band directors, and the successful, the musicians who have made it have been pushed. So learning how to play an instrument, and more than that, having how to become a musician is difficult. It's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over the course of a year. And I'm saying this, and I hope the kids behind me are listening to this too. It's frustrating, but it's rewarding ultimately. But it doesn't happen without parents and teachers encouraging, pushing, and opening up new opportunities. And Narrows Music Society and Harbor Winds, we try to provide that type of new opportunity. Something that takes the kids away from the daily routine of going to band practice or just practicing at home. This hopefully gives them something else. So I'd like to take a moment to specifically recognize the young artists who performed with us today. At the middle school level, they're being put into places where they can see maybe beyond their method books or what they're doing day to day. Playing alongside older kids and adults gives them a glimpse of why they should keep playing and why they should continue that process of becoming a better player and a better musician. For the middle schoolers, all they have to do is look at the examples of Riley Dykman and Taylor Robinson, who performed solos today and who are going into music as a career, which is fantastic. Next year, the middle schoolers can look at examples of the probably senior high school players who will be soloing with us. No spoilers, they don't know who they are, and neither do we, so you just have to show up next year to find that out. For the high school kids sitting behind me, we're grateful that they've continued to play and will hopefully continue to play well into the future. That doesn't necessarily have to mean a career in music. It certainly could, but it's important to remember that being a musician is something you carry around with you your whole life. Once you get latched onto it, it's just something you are. And you might try to get rid of it, you can't. You will always be, that magnetism of whatever music is in you will always keep pulling you back. And so no matter what profession we go into, we'll always be musicians, and there'll always be some sort of outlet for that talent. So I encourage all younger musicians to find that outlet. It can be a community band or just finding a friend to play with. Keep it going. As long as whatever you do, just keep it going. So with that, I'd like to recognize the young musicians who joined us today. And if you guys could stand up when I call your name and just stay standing until we're done. Section leaders will give you certificates from the Narrows Music Society and Harbor Winds, congratulating you on your accomplishments as a musician. And if you guys could hold your applause until the end of the list, that would be great. So, starting just with a, I didn't know I was going to go on for this long. This is only page 1 and 2. So starting with the high school students, and I want to make a couple of corrections that we unfortunately got wrong in the program. Taylor Robinson, and if you could stand up and just be recognized. Anna and Ball, who we mistakenly identified as being from Gig Harbor High School. There you go. She's actually from Peninsula High School. James McCourt from Gig Harbor. Dylan Shipman from Peninsula High School. Alexa Katansky from Gig Harbor. Henry Davis from Gig Harbor. Riley Dykman from Peninsula. Leah Everling from Gig Harbor. James Payne from Peninsula. Matthew Moffat from Gig Harbor. And flipping over to the middle school kids. Scott Canterline, Harbor Ridge Middle School. Nat Chansema from Harbor Ridge. Claire Finnegan from Lighthouse Christian. Wills Glass from Lighthouse Christian. Jace Porter from Harborview Fellowship School of the Arts. Sam Solomon from Harborview Fellowship School of the Arts. And Noah Holla from Harbor Ridge Middle School. Thank you all very, very much for participating with us. at the reception in the lobby afterwards. And then before we launch into our last number, which is Fiesta, I'd like to ask for your help. And you hear this all the time. There's a table outside. The Narrows Music Society website has a page. Your program has a QR code. I'm asking for your help with donations. We can't do what we do without your help. We put on 3 or hopefully 4 concerts a year. We pay rent, we buy or rent music. Starting in the fall, we'll be paying for equipment usage fees. We pay conductors fees, and all the other overhead that lots of groups have. It just adds up. We try, and I sure hope we do, give you a product that you enjoy and you keep coming back to, and you tell friends about, and you get more people. As I said a few years ago, if you like us, tell 2 people. If you don't like us, just keep that to yourself. But it's great to have this attendance. Keep that going. So if you didn't have a chance to donate on your way in, maybe you could do it on your way out, or go to the website right now and donate. We promise not to glare if everyone's on their cell phones donating during Fiesta. We won't even look at you. The music's in 5/4. We have to concentrate and watch that. Do what you need to do. Anyway, thanks for that, and I hope we'll see you at the reception and our next concert, which will be a Pops concert on June 9th, entitled Lights, Camera, Action. Music from James Bond, music from Harry Potter, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff from stage and screen. It'll be a great concert, and we hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
I'll just very briefly add on to that. Before we perform our last piece, I just have a few thank yous myself. Firstly being to the staff here at Gig Harbor High School for hosting us for our rehearsals and concerts. It means a ton to us to get to be in this beautiful space, so thank you. I'll just echo what Corey said to the families that are here and the students on stage and everyone who's come to support. Thank you so much. It means a ton to us. We can't tell you how much it means to us on stage to have you here supporting music and live music and music education and supporting these students. It means a great deal to us. So we really, really appreciate your support. And one last thing, please join us at the reception for all the students. Before you go out and have cookies, or sorry parents, if you could just wait on here, we're gonna borrow you for a moment to line up at the front of the stage and take a picture together. So please stay after the last piece. So speaking of which, I'm not gonna say too much about this last piece, but it's just super fun. It's subtitled Fiesta, and that's exactly what you're going to hear, a big party. So there's a lot of characters, there's a little bit of drama, so buckle up, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks, that's it. Just get out the back door. Go to the reception.